very happy Friday. This is Overpass Live. My name is Eric and I make apps. First of all, I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas and we're just finishing off the awful, nasty year that has been 2019. I guess the only real nice thing that came out of this year was it was the anniversary of the moon landing. But I suppose some good things came out of the year. There were some good things out of the year, but not for me. So anyway, this has been a tough week. I didn't do a video at all last week. The last video out on the channel was the last live stream. So I hope you guys could hear me. I've been sitting here having all kinds of technical difficulties trying to get this live stream started. But I hope you guys are. I hope you guys had a really good time. I hope you had a good Christmas. And it's now the office building is empty. It's just me. I think there's one other person in their office today. It's just quiet. It's quiet, and it's like that. It's that calm, the calm between at Christmas time where you sit down and you think about what your New Year's resolution is going to be, what you want to do going forward, and everything like that. And first of all, let me know if you guys can hear me okay. And the I did just before the live stream was I was hit with a huge tax last week. That was my thing. I mean, it just ruined my mood. So last live stream when I did it, it wasn't in the best of moods possibly, but I'm trying to get past that. So I'm going through and cutting a lot of my expenses. And one of the expenses I have is Adobe Suite CC, like all apps. I've had this for the last few years. I have the business account, which is the one that costs so I've been paying £100 a month for me and a few other team members, and that's been going out. And because it's a yearly contract, even when I let team members know, I started paying this, and so you have to wait until the point where you could actually get to the renewal period, so you could go and redo all that stuff. And I was looking today. Today I was looking at Envato. And I don't use Premiere Pro. I use Final Cut Pro. But I try. Having an Adobe account for me is like having a gym membership, and you don't go. I guess one of these days I'm gonna learn how to use Adobe Photoshop really well, aside from just resizing images and maybe put a few layers on there, right? I'm gonna get really good at this at some point when I have the time. And finally today, I realized it renews on the 4th of January, and today I just called them up and said cancel it. And they go, ooh, it's when we cancel it, you won't be able to use it anymore. I said, yeah, that's fine. I'll be able to use it till the 5th of January, right? And they said, no, they cancel it immediately. So, trying to get you to renew it. So far, can you guys hear me? I hope I'm not just talking to nobody. Can't hear a thing. Oh my god. The mic is glitching. You guys gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. Can you guys hear anything? Can you hear me now? I tell you, I'm having a bit of let me just wait to see if you guys can hear me before I do anything. There's a bit of a lag here too, I think. Okay, yeah, you can hear me. Okay, so yeah, anyway, so the whole thing was I wanted to cancel my Adobe subscription, and they said, and I have loads of credits for stock images and stuff like that. I mean, they really did a number when they sold me, but it's the top tool, right? It's loads of things you could do not using the expensive Adobe Suite, especially for business. For business, it's having a business sometimes is sometimes it's like having a wedding, right? Once people find out it's for business, then they put you in the ears. I try to use story blocks for stock images on some of my videos, and once they found out that Overpass was a business, then they started saying, ooh, yeah, it's going to cost about, let's see, we could do you a deal. It wasn't even a fixed price. It was let's see, how many images, how many stock footages you think you'll use a month, approximately, and how much this, and and how much would that be worth to you? Dude, just tell me. If I was not a company, my YouTube channel was not a company, and it was just an individual, why would it cost me $20 a month, but it would cost me hundreds if I am as a business? And that's kind of the same thing with Adobe, right? I was paying £200 a month, and today I finally canceled it, and I'm gonna deal with the fallout afterwards. I've team come back from holiday saying my Adobe subscription is not working anymore, and I'll be like, just have to find something else, right? It's there's other tools out there, and it's difficult when you're in Adobe Suite because you're forced. Every time you want to do something, you're thinking, I think I'll figure out how to do it in Adobe, and it's not the easiest thing to use, in my opinion. You guys could disagree. Let me know if the audio goes out again. I'll keep an eye on it over here. Rodrigo is first. Hey, Rodrigo, UK back. Merry Christmas, pal. Merry Christmas to you too. It was nice to have a couple days off. I'm more relaxed. I'm calm. Azimuth, PH. Hey everyone. Hey Eric. How's it going? Johan Albrechtsson says, "Hi, I'm getting into freelancing. How do you go about getting them first customers?" That's the hard bit. It's you start building up your portfolio. So for me, Johan, and I tell the story again and again. I set up my website. I set up business cards. I got my phone number. I look official, and I know other people who get T-shirts made and are like uniforms almost, even though they're just on their own. And then no one comes calling, right? Because you need to actually get out there and meet people, especially as a freelancer. You need people to know about who you are and what you do and everything like that. So building up that portfolio is going to be important, and also be very overt about what you can and can't do. You could use something like Upwork, and I know we set up an Upwork account like Overpass for a while, and never really got any traction out of it. And I know there's probably it's a whole nother market. There's probably has its own ASO techniques for Upwork, own keyword type things, which I know nothing about. But for me, it would be just getting out there and making sure everybody knows who you are and what you do. And that's the hard bit about any of the business. That's one of the things that I need to double down on. The YouTube channel helps because people are searching for app stuff and they might find it, and they somehow or other I get a referral from somebody, a referral of a referral of a referral, and then I'll get some business that way. But I need to get more overt about actually reaching out. And you can do that through cold calling, which I'm terrible at. Cold emailing was something that we did a lot in the beginning. With GDPR, kind of laid off it a little bit, and we might try to audio there, aren't we? We might try to go into that a little bit more, depending on things. This microphone. Okay, if that happens again, we're gonna get rid of this. All right, I'm switching microphones. Sorry about that. Let me just unplug this wretched thing, this expensive mic again. Okay, is that any better? All right, so we got audio, but the audio is not going to be as good as it's not going to be good as spending all this money on these expensive microphones. It's the same. So can you guys hear me? It's the same as spending all the money on an expensive Adobe suite, right? It's like you think it should always work all the time, and it doesn't. Yeah, I guess that's the second time. That's the second time that microphone's failed me on a live stream. I could have to turn it off. Right now, I'm using the webcam microphone, so it might be a bit echoey. But I might remove this. I might not put this live stream on the channel. Maybe we'll just talk now, and then we'll just remove it later. So let's talk about secret stuff. It'll be like I might get naked. Let's see. So Johan, to go back to answer your question, it's really hard to get. I mean, it's not so hard to get clients, but the more you build up your profile, the better. Let me tell you something. If they see you as a commodity, then you're going on price. So if they see you as somebody who you're just a developer, right? Then you can't set the price. They feel in control, and I get this from time to time. I could tell. Like a company will reach out to me, and I can tell that they're reaching out to a bunch of companies app companies at the same time, and I'll respond, and everything like that. But ultimately, if somebody contacts Overpass because they've seen a video or because of a referral, I'm way better off than if somebody is like they're just searching for app developers and they Googled it and then they found me. So if you could start building up that, and in the beginning you might not have the portfolio, but as you start to build it up, then you will. Tom Franson, hey Eric, happy holidays. Happy holidays, Tom. Rodrigo said, oh my God, you just made me feel old because I didn't know what Friday, didn't know it was Friday already. Yahoo, happy Friday. P3CH and VOG3L. Hey, how's it going? Mega Man 2016, 12th. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you too. Can we still say Merry Christmas even though it was 2 days ago? It's still the season, right? For me, actually, I don't know if I should say that. I'm getting all right, I'm going to say this because we'll remove the video later. I'm getting the age now where I start watching Scrooge and A Christmas Carol, and I start to identify more with Ebenezer Scrooge than I do with Bob Cratchit or whatever it is. I started thinking, yeah, you know what? It's not fair that Bob Cratchit asked for all that time off, but you know, that's just me. For me, New Year's is my day. That's the day where you think, all right, everything that was bad in the past, we're gonna scrub it. Everything everything that was good, we're gonna continue it. We're gonna get better. We're gonna double down. Next year, it's not just next year. It's the next decade, right? So we're at the end of this decade, and I've been thinking a lot about this past year and this past decade, and that's one of the things I really like. And I think it's just because of my age. You know, you as a kid, you love Christmas because you get presents and spend time with family. And spending time with family is my favorite part about Christmas. I mean, I'm not saying I don't like Christmas at all, but I'm just like all the stuff you have to buy and doing all the stuff and I mean, that's kind of getting, I think as I get older, I'm starting to get a bit, but and you guys may disagree with me. In fact, I don't think anybody does agree with me on this, but it's getting to the point now where I'm like, okay, but New Year's, that's the whole thing. That's the, what are we going to change? What are going to be our goals for next year? What are we going to do, right? 2 years ago, 2017, my New Year's resolution at the beginning of 2017 was I want to start doing the daily video. And I started doing it 5 days a week, and some weeks I would miss a day, or some weeks I would do even 3 videos, but by and large I kept to that bit. And in 2018 I moved up to 7 days a week. And so even last year I did my end of year video about, we did like 380 videos last year, or 360, something like that. And all these, I just did so many of them, and I was really proud of it. And this year, I went from having a Mustang, a big office, a team in the office, and doing videos every day to not. Right? But it's not terrible, but it's just, it's the way. But then when I think about it, as I look at the decade as a whole, I'm up. It's like if you're a stock trader, or what I read. I'm not a stock trader, but I read about stock traders. You got your ups and downs, but by and large, it always goes up, right? And that's it. At least I've had a down, but it's still going up. So let's see. Hopefully, is my microphone still? Are we still good on the microphone? Yeah. See. Let's see. Apavelli says, "What are your goals as a developer in 2020?" There's quite a few I have. So we need to get another app out there, right? I want to get. So there's a lot of things as a developer where there are some projects I would like to get done with, but I also need to get the revenue back to the state it was a year ago. So one of the big things that would hit me this year was getting EarSpy removed, or get Ear Agent, Ear Assist. I changed the name several times, but having that been removed in the past year, that was a big hit. So that a hit to the passive income, where there's still passive income coming in every day, which is good. I mean, I'm not going to complain about passive income as it comes in, but it's lower than it was, which just means that I wasn't working as hard as I should do. So going into the new year, as I work harder at bringing in new clients, and to the point where, I've talked before about, quoting on jobs which are big jobs, significant jobs, and not getting them. I mean, we got quite a few big jobs. I mean, there's no complaints, but when you don't get one, it's more of a blow, because I should be having more of those in the pipeline and doing that. And so I want to focus more on the marketing and pushing forward and bringing more clients in and making the case for apps, for mobile and web apps, because there's so many companies out there that just need them, right? It's not even like, there's two arguments. You can say, hey, you should have an app because it would be really, really cool, or you can say, dude, you need to have an app because it's going to really improve how you work. And some of the clients that I've done, that we've done apps for, those are the ones that I like the most, because it's not, we have a game that we'll put on the App Store and hopefully people will learn about our companies through the game. It's more like we have a bit of construction equipment and the app will help us get readings from 20 feet away via Bluetooth, or something like that. And that's something that really improves the way they are. It interfaces with, you know, they're walking around a shop floor and they're able to take pictures, and it's interfacing with a back-end API, and they're able to see real-time data going back and forth. That kind of stuff really is, I mean, it's really cool to work on. It's a lot of fun to work on, and it's just being able to be able to get that message out to more companies. But yeah, those are some of mine. I got Appavelli. This is it. I'm working on my New Year's resolution list, on my goals for 2020. One of my goals was to, on the YouTube side, to start doing more videos again. Go back to doing 5 videos a week at least, because I could. I mean, I didn't stop because I ran out of ideas. I didn't stop because I was burnt out. I stopped because somebody told me, Eric, I think you'd be better off if you did less videos, right? And it was, and I was kind of at a, you know, it was just such a tough year that I let them talk me into it, right? Anytime you let somebody talk you into working less, because, and it's, you know, it's the easy option. They talk you into the easy option, telling you that's going to be better for you, even though, you know, I don't think it was. Let's see, you guys can still hear me, right? Sorry, I'm going to keep checking that. So saying, going back to doing 5 videos a week, I haven't quite decided on that yet, because today I was talking with somebody who said, maybe you should give up on the YouTube channel, because, you know, you've probably got as many subscribers as you ever get, and you've talked about everything that's relevant. Maybe you should talk about something else and start a new channel. And I thought, what else am I going to talk about? Like, what else can I talk about? So, but yeah, we'll figure it out. So, but those are some of my goals as a developer. What are yours? In fact, you guys put that into the comments. What are your goals as a developer for the next year? Do you have any going forward? I mean, in terms of like my own apps, we need to get something out there. One of the things I keep picking up and working on is a container app for the Bubble Bath language games, right? And it's I really need to get that done for the Apple App Store. I mean, my App Store revenue has been so low recently because I removed all those apps a while back. Let's see. Oh, Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas from Who Games. Hey, thanks, Who Games. Let's see. Biswajit's here. Hey, Biswajit. Okay, so Making English Fun says, actually almost in the right time zone this time. Hello from snowy Norway. Norway. So okay, there's a lot of things I'm looking forward to 2019, or sorry, 2020. 2019. 2019 could go. A lot of things I'm looking for in 2019, in 2020. One of them is I finally booked a weekend trip, right? For 20 years I was saying, you know, one of these days I'm going to go, I just go by myself, and I'm just going to go on a trip someplace. I'm going to take one of these cheap flights and get an Airbnb, and I'm just going to go and just explore, right? And I've never done it because, you know, there's always something going on. And so finally, I'm going to Bratislava in January, but I want to try to do more as the year goes on. And it'll be nice for doing videos, get like a nice new background, get out of my comfort zone. That was another thing I heard a lot today was, Eric, maybe you're too much in your comfort zone. And maybe that is. Maybe I'm in a rut. But yeah, so Norway, I have been to Norway, and I thought it was really nice. Let's see. Making English Fun says, ages ago you looked at my app and said, Google don't like metadata with list in it. Well, they found it today and removed it. Got a good 6 months though. Making English Fun, if it's just removed, all you have to do is change the description and hit submit, right? Give them a couple days and it'll be back. You don't even need to recompile it. Just put it back there. Let's see. UK Baz. It reminds me of Michael Jackson's album. It's bad. It's echoey, but it's not glitching. Good. Joe says, hey Eric, when handling non-consumable IAP in Android, how do you check whether the user has access to the premium content on App Launch, taking refunds, cancellations in consideration? There is a way to do that if you do it. So on some of my apps, I don't think I don't think I even take that into consideration. So all right. So Joe, to be completely honest with you, on some of my apps, I might not be checking it, but on other ones I am. So there's a way to do, and then there's check status or something like that. Can't remember what it is. We've done it in Ionic, we've done it in native. I can't remember what the calls are native, but yeah, it's definitely something that you could do. So you go through and check to see everything that's there. You should be checking that inventory anyway, because you should find out what the prices are. One of the things, so like when you're lazy, like some of our apps are lazy and we don't show the current price, right? Or what you should never do is put the price in the application itself. You should have Google Play or the App Store give that data to you, so you get available products, whatever the call is, and then you get the products or the price associated for that person's currency, and then that way you can display it so that they can just go through and make that quick decision rather than have the pop-up come up and then they say no, cancel and everything like that. And when you do that, then you should be able to see whether or not they've actually made that purchase because you're checking the status. On some of our apps we do that, on some of them maybe not. Let's see, Kingsley Christopher says, why was your top app removed? It's been removed a few times. The last time because it had spy in it, spy terminology. Now, if this whole thing is, so Christopher, Kingsley, we had the top app was it was so a couple of years ago it was suspended. I appealed it, they rejected the appeal. I appealed it again, and they accepted it. And so I just kept appealing it. This time it was in August that that the pro and the free version were both suspended. And then I went through and I appealed it again, and then it's the same way. I thought, that's it. I guess that's it. That's the end of an era. And then I went through and I appealed it again. And then I did a video about it. And then they came back and said, okay, having reviewed this, we're going to temporarily reinstate this app, but you have to make these changes. So I went through and made the changes. I released it again as the free and the paid version. And one of the things is the functionality of the application. So it was like listening. It's a listening application. But Google has that in Android 11 anyway. It's Android 10, sorry. I'm thinking iOS 11. In Android 10, they have this application anyway, which was like really similar, even in terms of look. And so I did a video about that. And then I came back and said, yeah, they did it. So I put the paid version and the free version out again. And within a week, they suspended the paid version again. And it might be that I forgot to move something, so I just removed the free version. So I still can put the free version out there, but I haven't done yet. And so that was the one that made the most of the money. But I mean, it still does. So I'm making about 30 to 40 pounds a day, I guess, through passive revenue, and that's through Google Play. So 30 to 40 pounds, I guess about $40, $50 a day. So I guess if I had a part-time job, that would be it, but I don't. So that's there. So let's see. Lufia says, hello fans. Hello Lufia. FD Royd says yes. Just said just yes. Is that in response to anything? Rodrigo says, Eric, would be better if you did. I think it'd be better if you did more videos. You know what? Here's this. It's counterintuitive because I remember I joined this business group and I just sort of mentioned it like, oh yeah, I do a YouTube video every day, right? And sometimes it's just me sitting in the office. Sometimes it'll be, I'll go out and film in a park, or I'll drive around a little bit. And this one woman said, don't you feel like you're on a treadmill and you can't get off? And it didn't feel that way at all. It was something I really enjoyed doing. It was tough to get started. I mean, it was hard to start and get over the self-consciousness of it. But in the end, it was kind of like, it was something I identified myself with. It was like you can't say that I'm not a hard worker, right? Because, I'll do it. And whenever somebody would say, oh yeah, I should probably do that one day, I mean, it's not as hard as you think it is. And the more I did it, the better I got at talking to clients, the better I got at talking to like normal people on the street, the better I just got at that kind of stuff. So this year, let's talk about the year in review. This year started off with, we had this really big project. It was way overdue. The client was complaining about it, but they were also adding lots of scope to it, right? It was like, it was just this thing where, they kept adding to it, adding to it, adding to it. And so finally it was like, it was clear that they kept moving the goalposts, and I was never going to be able to finish this thing, right? And all I was doing was paying all this money into it. And in the end, we just, it just ended. Like, no payments happened. So like, I ended up spending tens of thousands of pounds on this project and got just like 3,000 pounds for it, right? It was a huge hit. It was like such a blow that's the way the year started. Like, it was about early February. And February, that's when I realized that, I think the business kind of just slowed down for a bit. Like, it was like the run up to Brexit, so everyone was kind of holding off on stuff. A lot of the quotes were going to make decisions. They were kind of holding off on those. And then it was like, so I didn't have the revenue coming in. And then it was like, and I started looking at the people in the office thinking, well, maybe this, how am I going to keep everything going? I got the bigger office and everything. And then I thought, well, I also have this Mustang that I love. I love the Mustang, right? And it was like, but it was expensive because I was doing, monthly payments. And I thought, well, that should go first. As a responsible business owner, I should get rid of the Mustang. And I did. I got rid of the Mustang in February, so the beginning of March, Mustang was gone, and then made the team smaller in April, and then we just sort of going through there, and then I did keep a few people on. One of them said, you really should stop doing so many stop doing so many videos, like, because doing it every day, people are tired of hearing from you. You just like whenever, and I thought, and when somebody tells you something that's critical like that, like, it's not so much that they're saying, it was like they said, but it was kind of like making me feel like, oh, well, if I'm just being annoying to everybody, then maybe I should just stop, right? So I did. I started going down to twice a week, and I thought, I'll just do tutorials, and I did the first tutorial on dialogue flow, and then after that I realized how it was not fun. I wasn't, it was just very serious, and I wasn't able to just talk about like my opinions about stuff. And I thought, well, you know what? And plus I was, it's difficult when you are, so when you're an app developer and you don't know any other app developers and you're taking advice from people who have never put an app out there, it's very seductive to listen to them because it's somebody who sounds confident even though they have no idea what they're talking about, right? And it was the same with the YouTube videos. So somebody who sounded confident saying, you should do less. Yeah, you should definitely do less because then you'll get better, then you'll get more subscribers and you'll, all this kind of stuff. And I thought, oh, really? Okay, yeah, maybe you're right. And then I stopped and I was like, dude, it was like, he didn't have a YouTube channel. He didn't have and the same with business. Every time, when you're at the top and there's nobody you could turn to for advice, anybody who gives you an advice, it's very seductive to listen to it. And that's one of my shortcomings. But I would like to go back to doing more videos, to be honest with you. Let's see. Chord Funk. Yo, what I missed? Nothing. Hey, how you doing, Chord Funk? Ariel says, for me, birthdays are my day. Less and less life every year, every month, every day, every hour. Pure happiness in my day. Happy holidays, Eric. By the way, how do you fire people? It's not easy. It's not. And I think it's not easy, especially. And I'm not good at it, right? I think Ariel, I'm just so one of the nice things. Having offshore teams makes it a bit easier because I don't have to. It just becomes an online conversation. I can just say, I'm sorry, we just can't keep going. All that stuff. Even times when. It's not easy. I mean, I think it's something I need to work on. Especially like so, and I'm. My whole thing is, I don't like to burn the bridges. So I never say, I'm firing you because you never listen, because you don't do your daily summary, or because, because you completely messed this thing up. I don't say that. I just say, it's just not working out, right? So, and, because something will happen where you need to go back to them and ask for something, or they might need something too. They might have a family crisis and they might need to come back to you if they're the ones who decided to leave. So it's better to leave those open if you need to, unless it's something really bad. I mean, I've had developers, let's say, steal from me, like a remote developer steal my Corona account years ago, and that was tough. And that was like, he and even then we had a polite discourse after that. Lufia says, Applevelli says, do 3 to 5 videos a week. I really enjoy them. Yeah, thanks. I haven't done any this week. It's mainly because of the holidays. Cord Funk says, Nea Norga. What does that mean? Is that Swedish? Or is that Norway for Merry Christmas? No, that can't be right. Applevelli says, in 2020, I want to increase my revenue for my apps, focus on getting clients, podcasting, blogging, and learning AI. Cool. Those all sound really good. And podcasting is one I think I would like to do. It seems like everybody's getting into podcasting at the moment. Cord Funk says, cheap Airbnb in Norway. Ain't no such thing. Norway is expensive. Yeah, I know. That was it. So when I was like selecting places to go, I really went for the cheapest flight, and I wanted to go someplace in Eastern Europe because I just want to go someplace I've never been before. Like, I want to go someplace was hopefully not too touristy, but and again, I've done no research. I'm just gonna go and walk around and be fun. What, did I miss something here? Oh, Lufia said, my first Flutter app is online. I made it during my internship with some help from a senior developer. It's called Designed by Me. Lufia, would you like us to have a look at it? Okay, so that's it. How's Flutter going for you? You said in a previous video you tried it, but it's still not as good as Android Studio. I will be drafted to the Army for 9 months. After that, I would like to try Flutter. Wow, cool. So, no, I do like using Flutter. We had a Flutter issue this week or last week where we had an HTTP call which was redirected, and the Flutter was not picking up the redirect. It was some weird thing. It was like not a common situation. It was like really weird where the client API was doing a redirect, and everything was working through Ionic and other things, but it wasn't working through Flutter, and so we had to like get them to rewrite the API that way. But it was it was an old server, like an old technology that they were using. It wasn't anything new. So, but yeah, I definitely think I think for me that's one of my goals for 2019 is to actually myself put out a Flutter app, like to actually sit down and do it. Right, years ago I learned Ionic, and that helped me so much just to spend the time to push everything else aside and sit down and learn how all that stuff works. Right. And because even if I get other people to develop it, sometimes you just need to go there and tweak things, make little changes and stuff like that, and it's always important to that. So that's always important. But Rodrigo says, "Die 2019." Yeah, my. Let's see. Oh yeah, FD Roy. It was responsible here. Thanks when you said yes. Reverse 46 says, how did you find your first paying clients? So I put the website out. I was doing, this was my first paying clients, like actually hiring me to do an app. It was back in 2013. I think it was in 2013. I was put an app out there. I tried ads, but I was getting like, on Google Ads, I was getting something like a 30 pound click-through rate or something like that. It was like really high, and most of the time it wasn't actually potential clients doing it. It was like other app development companies trying to sell to me. So that was not really working out for me doing Google Ads. And eventually I got an email from someone, and I'm sure it was like they emailed all the ones in the area. So one of the things, thinking about where your clients will be emailing. So, yeah, I may not be the best app developer in the world, but I'm the best one in this area, right? That's what you want to make it sound like. So if somebody says app developer in Wantage, app developer in Oxfordshire, app developer in Somerset, app developer in Reading, in Thames Valley, app developer. So we have all these pages on our website, which they started to go through. So when people were Googling it, that SEO effort would go through. So if you look at our website, it looks like it's, you know, it's got some pages, it's got lots of blog posts, it's probably got like it's got hundreds of blog posts, maybe 1,000, but it's also got lots of pages you can't see, which are spidered through, so that if you do like locate, we call them the location pages. We have the location pages and the industry pages. So if you do like a app developer in Somerset, it will come up with one of our pages, right, to begin with, right? And that was through an SEO effort, the first paying client that came through. And then I went through and I met with them, put my suit on, went down to their offices. We talked about doing a game. I was like very confident. Yes, we could, you know, we could do that, which is tough on your first job because you want to look like you know what you're doing, but again, you know, and at the same time, you don't want to be like, oh yeah, we do this kind of stuff all the time, but you want to say, oh yeah, you know, I do this. So when I was talking about my experience doing development, I wasn't so much saying as Overpass, I was saying just my experience as a developer. So yeah, I've done a project like this, I've done a project like that, which was true because I was a contractor, right? And then they went with us to do the project, and I quoted like, I think I quoted £3,000 for the job, and it was, and I thought, okay, everybody, and I wasn't thinking about how much design was going to be involved in it. Design was a huge part of this app. It was a game, actually. It was a game for a trade show, and it went. So it was for a trade show event. So we had this tight deadline. I had a designer in the Philippines, and he was really, really good, very talented. And so he did a few designs. I sent them to him, and everything was off to a super start with this client. This is really good. I thought you guys, I know you say you do design, but this is excellent, right? It was like cartoon characters, the animation, everything. It was perfect, right? And we started doing stuff, all right. And then and then I had another developer to do Corona, and he was also in the Philippines, and he had taken a Corona course. He said, yeah, he's got it. He did nothing. Like this guy, this developer, 6 weeks went by. He did not do a thing. He kept promising me things. He kept saying, oh yeah, I'm working on it. And then I went through and looked at, I found he had, so on Online Jobs PH, he had several profiles set up. So there we were, it was nearly time for the event. The client kept asking for updates. Oh, and the designer disappeared completely after 2 weeks, right? Gone, right? Not online, not anywhere. So I have a few graphic resources, none of the source. They asked for changes to it, so they're saying, well, this character, can you make him do this instead, this, whatever? I go, oh yeah, it's okay, right? So I'm stalling because I don't know what to do. I'm in a situation where the developer hasn't produced anything, right? And so in the end, I had to fire him, and then the designer was completely missing. So I hired a new designer, brought her on. That was Sandy, who's still with me today. And then the other designer returned, like just magically returned, said, oh, sorry, my internet went down for 6 weeks or whatever. Oh my God, it was so stressful, right? And then finally, he starts doing the images, but he doesn't just make the little changes he wants. He completely redoes everything with a completely new look and feel. The clients are saying, this is not what we wanted, Eric. I said, no, yeah, this is fine. Now I got this, right? And then finally he produces it. Sandy did a fantastic job, and I wrote all the code for it. So it was like me going through and just lots of late nights. And then, but we finished it. They loved that application. They came back and asked for another one for the Play Store and the App Store, but I think they've removed them. They didn't keep their accounts going because they didn't get a lot of downloads on it in the end. But it was like, that was so I put so much work into that, charged such a small amount, has so many headaches. I was stressed out like you would not believe. I can remember sitting there, like, maybe I shouldn't be telling you guys this. Well, we'll remove this video. So I'm sitting there, I remember sitting there in the living room like, oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to, it's like there's a train wreck coming and I can see it coming, right? And in the end, that's what, even though it was stressful, it did not go the way that I wanted it to go. Ultimately, it was like, I'm a software developer, and if they're not going to do it, if he's not going to do it, then I'm going to do it, right? I'm going to be the one to do it because I can. And this is one of the things that when I see people who, occasionally I'll talk to somebody who wants to have, they wants to do what I do, and they'll say, oh, all I have to do is hire some developers, get some jobs, give it to the developers do everything, right? It's like, dude, I wish it was that easy. I wish it was that easy, because there are times where you're like, dude, I got to roll up my sleeves and I got to fix this myself. I got to get this thing done. Now, you could say you should just get better developers, but I charge such a low amount to begin with that I couldn't afford to get any other developers. I couldn't afford to, all the money I'd wasted on this one guy. And, but you learn from these kind of things. You learn, now it's like check things in. If I don't see, if these things aren't checked in to Git, then, it's like you haven't even done them. I need to see proof. I need to see code. But that was a tough one. But yeah, that was my first client project. I learned a lot from it. But again, sometimes you get into those things. Frequently we get a situation where we charge a certain amount, and you find out that it wasn't enough, or that the client expectations are just off they just keep adding scope to it, and you say, well, that wasn't agreed to, that wasn't in the specification. And sometimes that works. Like sometimes they understand it, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they think you're trying to cheat them because you're saying it's going to cost more. But we mentioned it that one time on the phone. It's like, yeah, but it wasn't. You asked if it was possible. Yeah, I said, yeah, it's possible, but it's going to cost more. And that gets very difficult. And sometimes, it's just exhausting. It's exhausting. That's just that's the way it is. I wish I could say it was easy. I wish I could say it was easy. But to your clients, you always want to make it look easy, right? It's not. They're not paying you so they can have the same headaches you're having. They're paying you so you have the headaches, and that's what I do, right? My job is to make sure everything gets done. You say you should hire better developers, which is true. Some of the developers I work with are very good, right? And some of them, not so much. But you can't go to the client and say, I'm sorry, I wanted to get this done, but the developer was really bad. It's like, no, it's down to me then. It's down to me to pick up the pieces. Let's see. Where's I? Oh, that was reverse 46. That was a long answer. Sorry, reverse 46. Adam Major, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Adam. Lufia says, Android Studio is a development environment, IDE, but I use VS Code. Yeah, I use VS Code when I do Flutter. You meant native Android, right? Well, I liked Flutter, but state management was so hard to grasp because there are like 5 ways or so. Yeah, it's kind of weird the way they have the stateless widgets and the stateful widgets. It makes sense, but Rodrigo says, Eric, this is your daily reminder. Does everyone smash the like button? Oh yeah, everybody smash that like button. That's what we should do, right? Rather than talk about apps in the next year, we're gonna do that. I'm gonna talk about dieting tips and weightlifting, and what else? Something else really much. We're gonna fix cars and change oil and stuff. What I'll do is I'll literally learn something and then do a video about it the next day. Oh yeah, I'm always changing the oil in the car. Here's what you do. Oh. Let's see. Appabelly says, are you binge watching any shows this weekend? Tech Talk on Amazon is pretty good. No, you know what? Do you know what's so there's so many streaming services out there, right? And Apple, big evil Apple, they have their own Apple TV. But For All Mankind is really, really good. So I finished watching all 10 episodes of that. That was what I watched, I guess, last weekend. And it was really, it was an excellent show, right? And you get like a 7-day free trial on it. So on Apple TV, otherwise it's like £5 a month or $5 a month, whatever it is. So don't do that. Just go to the, if you have an Apple, I don't know if you need an Apple device or not, but just do the 5 days and binge watch For All Mankind. It's all about the moon landing, and it was as if the space race never 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 ended. That's really good. Another one I watched. So I've been maybe I've been over the holidays relying a little bit too much on the box sets. Is Brockmire. Brockmire on Amazon Prime. It's about a guy who is a major league baseball announcer, and he completely loses it, and then ends up going to the minor leagues, and it's like really bad. It's made me laugh so much, but it's like a lot of drugs and sex and drugs, and just it's got Hank Azaria from who does one of the voices on The Simpsons. That's one that I really like because I finished watching Silicon Valley, but I haven't seen the last season. But that was one I really liked. Let's see. Cordfunk says, was the HTTP redirect on Flutter for web? Was it a Flutter problem? It wasn't necessarily a Flutter problem. I know. Oh God, I could go on this. I don't want to get too negative, but we just had something where we have a web application which our client is turning into an API for us, but we still have like a certain login functionality that we didn't have like a login API, so we had like a redirect, which should have worked just fine. And through testing, the developer said, yeah, everything works. Yeah, everything works. Okay, so we're waiting. So all this stuff, and then so finally when we test it like through an app, it works on some devices but not on others, and it's because of the redirect that goes through. We're getting the first page that goes through, but not the redirect. Anyway, it was on Flutter for mobile, and it was like I said, it was such an obscure thing. Like I doubt anybody else in the whole world would ever have this problem, but it was just one of the things that we faced. And I don't think it was a Flutter problem. I think it was more the way it was coded, on our end. But luckily, it's the client came back and we worked on it, we resolved it, everything's good. Let's see. Lufia says, you can look at the app if you want, but I won't do much work on it because the internship is almost ended. Just doing some UI tweaks and mainly documentation. Okay, let us know what the app name is. CLAC says, how much do you make roughly per client project? I don't want to say that, just because it depends. Like yeah, it depends. It depends on. It's like I once saw the comedian Hannibal Burgess, who said that one of the newspapers had said how much they paid him. He went to a college, and the college newspaper said, they made it a point to talk about how, bringing him in as a comedian only cost $300 or something like that. And he said, making it difficult for him to charge anything else in the future, right? And this is one of the things I think about. Like, I try not to talk too much about how much I make per client or how much each client project works, because they're all different, right? And once you put a number down there, it could be like I said, the one we charged $3,000 for, that was way too little compared to how much time and money I spent on it, right? So it really it's one of those things that I don't want to put it out there because just for that reason. I hope that makes sense, because it would be difficult to charge anything else in the future. Rodrigo says, podcasting is the new blogging, but you don't have to sit and read. You just listen to the wisdom. I think, Rodrigo, the thing about podcasting that got me was I was listening to the radio, like in the 90s, right? I was listening to the radio driving, and there was a local commercial for a company teaching a podcasting course, right? And I thought, if it's getting so mainstream that they're actually putting, commercials on the radio, like local companies putting commercials on the radio for their podcast to teach you how to podcast, because anybody can podcast, then it's gonna get very saturated. But that was the first thing I thought. So, sorry, Daval Jatania. Daval says, should I go for React Native or Flutter? Currently, I'm working with native Android. For me, I still think I would choose Flutter over React Native, but it's up to you. Just because I think, I don't know if there's a whole lot going on with React Native in terms of, we got a whole bunch of new stuff coming. I feel like Flutter has a lot more momentum. I could be wrong. Let me know if you disagree about that. But it seems like it seems like we're still at the beginnings of Flutter, and React Native, I'm wondering if that's the case or not. Akash, hey, how's it going, Akash? Lufia says, if you already know React, just go React Native. Oh yeah, if you already know React, go React Native. Else, I think you should do Flutter. I'm still a junior, and I've never tried React Native. Amin Abadullahi says, hey Eric, thank you so much for the valuable information. Is it a time to develop augmented reality apps? What do you think about AR? So for me, AR, outside of gaming, I like to think of like, what could it actually do? It seems like something that's really impressive, but how useful is it in terms of like a business context? So a lot of stuff I've been thinking about is business. So, it'd be, as a game, it'd be really cool. But, and like if you had something where, we quoted, like, I quoted for some company that does sheds. Like, it was like, not sheds, but like marquees and type stuff like that. And so I said, he said, so what kind of app can you make for us? You're like putting it all on me. And I'm like, well, we can do something where you have augmented reality. You can see what it would look like with a shed over in that part of the field or whatever, right? Which I'd never done, but it sounded really cool when I said it, right? That was kind of, that kind of stuff would be cool, like using augmented reality that way. And that's also something where that can't necessarily be a website. Maybe using something like Web3GL or whatever it's called, right? But that would be a uniquely mobile application, but I can't think of that many stuff, that much stuff for it. But if you're a good AR developer, how rare a skill is that, right? You could be a developer who's like, I can read things from a database, show it on a screen, put up a form, you fill in the form, it submits back to the database, right? Dude, that's a very common skill. But if you're like an AR guy, that must be really unique. Let's see. Cordfunk says, I would pick Flutter over React Native any day of the week. Any day of the week. Yeah, I think I would go for Flutter too. I think. Let's see. But just look at available jobs if you want. If you really need a job. Cordfunk says, there's a really good show called Startup. Dude, Cordfunk, I've seen all those episodes. I saw the first 2 seasons with Martin Freeman and the 3rd season with, was it Ron Perlman? Yeah, Startup is a really good show. It's the one where, when you get to the end of the episode, you're like, I think I'll just watch the next one. Yep. Let's see. But yeah, that's on Amazon Prime over here. It's been a while since I saw it, but I'm not sure. Yeah, Lufia Loaded is also a very funny show about a little app developer team that makes it. Oh, Loaded. I'll have to look at that one. I've never heard of that one. Let's see. Netflix is spending a lot on podcasts, says Daval. All right. Equilibrium Corp says the last stream of 2019. Yes, the last stream of this year. I'm not gonna say anything bad about the year. I always think, I don't want to keep going on about 2019, but you know what? And I know it's just a calendar. Like the 2nd of January is gonna be the same, right? Whatever, but it's gotta be something. Like I'm gonna cling to whatever I want, whatever mental thing I can get to. Like next year is going to be better than this year. Lufia says, Daval, can you tweak the Flutter app to almost any time you want? Okay, cool. Cool. And that's the last of the questions. You guys going, well, Anyway, I really appreciate it. This is my favorite time of the week is doing the live stream. I didn't want to miss it this week. And I hope you guys all have a fantastic new year. Quick question. All right, quick question from, I can't remember the name. Is it Alexander? Quick question. Are AdMob earnings taxed? Does Google take a percentage? For me, no, I don't think Google. So for me, I don't think AdMob. So okay, it depends on what country you're in, but like in the UK, I think ad revenue is not taxed. So and I think it depends on where you are. It's a difficult one to talk about questions. But I'm just going to Google it real quick because I think for like for some things you do and some things you don't. So like in-app purchases are taxed, but the ad revenue I don't think is, and because you don't really have any control over it anyway. Yeah, it's different. Well, I haven't shared my screen once this whole video, huh? All right. Well, hey everybody, I hope you have a fantastic. Thank you very much for joining the live stream this week. I wish you guys I hope you guys have a fantastic New Year celebration. And I wish you a happy New Year. I'll see you guys in the new year, in the new decade. I might put another video out before then, but maybe not. And we'll talk a little bit about goals and New Year's resolutions on the next live stream. Have a fantastic weekend. I'll talk to you guys next time.